This is 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV for Friday, December 1st, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. It's our Friday 5, the 5 big issues of the week as we head into the weekend. Topic number 5 again this week, of course, is Israel. As the pause continues in the fighting between Israel and Hamas, more hostages being released by Hamas in exchange for Palestinian prisoners being held on suspicion of terror activities. It's been a 3-for-1 swap that may not continue. A spokesperson for Hamas talking to the TRT news network in Türkiye Wednesday, said that the exchange rate will continue to increase as the number of hostages being held by Hamas continues to decrease. Now, to this point, Hamas has been releasing women and children. Frankly, this is only to Hamas' benefit because, quite frankly, there are some physical and emotional needs that children and women, sorry ladies, have that do not apply to men and in the eyes of the world. Holding women and children as hostages does not play as well with sympathies of people looking in from the outside as holding men, especially men of fighting age. So this is really only to Hamas's benefit to rid themselves of the hostages, the women and children hostages, and hang on to the men. You might remember, if you have a sense of history going back more than 10 years, the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, who was captured and was exchanged by Israel for 1,000 Palestinian Arabs being held on terror-related charges. This is the kind of thing that Hamas is looking to do. Spokesperson for Hamas telling TRT News that they will hang on to the hostages until every one of the Palestinian prisoners being held by Israel on suspicion of terror activities are released. This is what Israel's government is having to deal with. Again, complicating matters, as we told you earlier this week, is that as many as 40 people captured by Hamas on October 7th are no longer held by Hamas. Palestinian Islamic Jihad has some of them. Others were taken by civilians who followed Hamas across the border on October 7th. This is bizarre, and the news of the last couple of days, not widely reported here by the corporate media in the West, which definitely has a pro-Hamas bias. A teacher with the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, a relief worker working for Palestine or for the United Nations in Gaza, a school teacher, father of 10, held one of the hostages in an attic for the last 50 days. Barely provided food, did not attend to the medical needs of the hostage. A Gazan doctor also held another hostage, according to Channel 13 in Israel. Investigative reporter Almag Boker reporting this on Wednesday. Spokesperson for the United Nations Relief Works Agency acknowledged the accusations but did not declined to comment. But the Washington Free Beacon reported as early as last month that a number of civilians followed Hamas into Israel on October 7th to join in the attacks. Young men with knives, overweight men of middle age, at least one elderly man on crutches among those who exploited the chaos on October 7th to loot and pillage and, in a couple of cases at least, take hostages from the kibbutzim along the border with Gaza. The IDF has declined to provide details about the activities of non-Hamas Gazans on October 7th, but spokesman Jonathan Conricus, the lieutenant colonel in the reserves of the IDF, confirmed to the Washington Free Beacon that large numbers of Gazans who were not members of Hamas did take part in the attack on October 7th. This could blow up into a wider regional war, and that's point number 4 today, as we're seeing shipping in the Red Sea being disrupted by the Shia Houthis in Yemen. They are the de facto government of Yemen, which is the nation to the south of Saudi Arabia. A tanker linked to Israel was seized on Sunday, authorities said. The USS Mason, responding to a distress call, managed to apprehend some of the pirates. The U.S. Navy, the Pentagon, downplaying the incident, saying, well, they appear to have been Somali pirates, not Yemeni pirates backed by Iran. But that makes no sense because as they attempted to flee the Central Park, the tanker in question, they fled toward Yemen, not the Horn of Africa. And later, a couple of missiles from Yemen were fired in the direction of USS Mason. They fell far short, so thankfully no damage, no injuries to American sailors, but you can only imagine what would have happened had they actually connected and the Mason taken damage, taken casualties, we could find ourselves very easily into a wider conflict, especially with tough talk coming from some of Israel's neighbors and as far away as Turkey, where President Erdogan of Turkey has said that there is no justification for the attacks on Gaza. Well, I'd say you've got at least 1,400, Mr. President, but therein lies the heart of the issue here. This is a long-running conflict that does not go back to 1973, 67, 48. This is not even something that began with the Zionist movement led by Theodor Herzl in the late 19th century. This is a spiritual war for control of the Har Moed, the Mount of Assembly, God's Mount of Assembly, which is Jerusalem. Topic number 3, Henry Kissinger, dominant U.S. diplomat of the Cold War era, has passed away at the age of 100. According to his consultancy, he died at his home in Connecticut on Wednesday. He was probably at the height of his powers in the 1970s as he served as the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State for both Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. But he continued to exercise influence behind the scenes, in fact, even traveling just a few weeks ago to China to meet with Chinese officials at the age of 100. He was the architect of the opening of the United States to China, which the Chinese Communist Party has exploited through its manipulation of the World Economic Forum to kneecap the middle class in the West. He was also involved in landmark arms control talks with the Soviet Union, expanded ties between Israel and its neighbors, and of course the Paris Peace Accords with North Vietnam. I know that he is a controversial figure. And sadly, we've seen many professing Christians on social media celebrating Mr. Kissinger's death. We don't know what was in Mr. Kissinger's heart. We can just see through his actions, through his words, what he may have believed. But even if he is not in the company of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, at this moment, this is not something that we as Christians should celebrate for anyone. And it is not a good witness when one takes to social media to gloat over the death of another whom one suspects may not be enjoying his afterlife. Topic number 2. We've seen this before, reports of a surge in pneumonia-like illness in China. That was a story that's been kind of bubbling under the news of the conflict in Israel this past week. Children in northern China, primarily affected. World Health Organization has asked for more information from China. We are not, shall we say, optimistic about the Chinese being absolutely forthcoming with information based on what happened in 2019 regarding SARS-CoV-2. There appear to be several candidates for the cause of this mysterious pneumonia-like illness: mycoplasma, RSV, adenovirus, influenza, maybe even a previously unknown virus. But it is something to watch because, again, we have seen this script before. We are not eager for a sequel. Coming up, Trump versus the internet. That's ahead on the Friday Five.
We want to make sure that you're aware of the largest giveaway of the year in the We Are Legion Grand Collection. When you order the We Are Legion Grand Collection from SkywatchTVStore.com, you'll receive We Are Legion for We Are Many, Dominions, Cosmo Craters, and Washington, D.C. Unmasking the Ancient Riddle of the Hebrew Year 5785 and the Eminent Destiny of America by best-selling author Dr. Thomas Horn. Divided We Stand, the globalist scheme for a one-world government by Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, and The Prince of the Power of the Air and the Last Days, Satanology, History, Prophecy, and Technology by Jeffrey W. Martis. But we're just getting started. This must-have collection also includes the breathtaking 2-hour documentary, The Secret Destiny of America, on DVD, featuring Dr. Thomas Horn as he reveals who the God on America's Great Seal and U.S. $1 bill really is, why 72 pentagrams in the Capitol Dome are used to control the ancient Cosmo Craters who rule the nations, the coming incarnation of Antichrist, and much, much more. But that's not all. With the holidays just around the corner, now's your chance to save big and receive solid bonus merchandise absolutely free. Because also included in the We Are Legion Grand Collection are any number of brand new, super quality, overstock gift books, DVDs, or audio sets to add to your library or to give away as gifts this coming holiday season. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of nearly $150. Yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so act quickly. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. This is the largest giveaway of the year, just in time for the holiday gift-giving season, and is available only while supplies last, so don't delay. Visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the We Are Legion Grand Collection now.
Topic number one today, Donald Trump versus the internet. We live in an age where a large percentage of Americans incorrectly believe that the First Amendment does not protect hate speech. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The First Amendment does, in fact, protect hate speech. By definition, free speech means protecting speech that some people will find uncomfortable and perhaps even hateful. But when you delegate to government bureaucrats the authority to regulate which ideas you can express, you no longer live in a free society. That is an idea we need to communicate, especially to younger people here in our nation. Giving government the authority to dictate what we can share online, what constitutes free speech, is a bad idea. But that is what UNESCO and the World Economic Forum want. And the government of Ireland is following them down that into the abyss, down that slippery slope. They want the power to access and control personal communication on social media to combat hate speech. And now we learn that Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is prosecuting President Trump for being Donald Trump, apparently, demanded information on Twitter users who liked or retweeted the former president's tweets leading up to the January 6th protests at the U.S. Capitol. This is according to a heavily redacted search warrant and other documents released on Monday of this week. Smith's search warrant, 8 pages out of the 14, by the way, completely redacted. No idea what's in those, but what is available shows that Smith wants Trump's search history, his direct messages, and, quote, content of all tweets created, drafted, favorited, liked, or retweeted, end quote, by his account between October of 2020 and January of 2021. Smith also wants lists of all Twitter users who either favorited or retweeted any of Trump's tweets. It would include a lot of us who are on social media, frankly, as well as all tweets that include the username associated with the account in mentions or replies. Are you kidding me? This officer of the court, the United States government, essentially wanting to know how many of us here, President Trump had millions of followers on Twitter before he was kicked off the account, kicked off the platform. Many of us followed him just because, frankly, we wanted to see what he was doing. And sometimes he did something that was worth a like or a retweet. Special Counsel Smith wants to know who you are if you are one of those people. Again, 8 of the 14 pages in the search warrant completely redacted, according to the New York Post. The warrant includes a non-disclosure order instructing Twitter, X, not to notify Trump about the search. X objected to the order, arguing that it was a violation of the First Amendment. X ultimately complied with the warrant, but they were fined $350,000 for failing to meet Smith's demands by his deadline. Does this sound like a free society? Trump's legal team has appealed the order, calling it unconstitutional. He's threatened to take the matter to the U.S. Supreme Court. I sincerely hope that they do. Just remember, this is the direction our global society is going as global organizations like the WEF, UNESCO, and others think that they are somehow justified and apparently have enough public support on their side to get away with it, arguing that speech on the internet must be regulated to protect human rights. Well, again, you don't even need to believe in end times Bible prophecy to see how this will be really useful for a future global government. Well, is the United States as we know it doomed? That's one of the subjects that Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis examines in his new book, Divided We Stand. He's on the panel this week with the late Tom Horn, the final series of programs featuring Tom Horn, whose new book just out from Defender Publishing is We Are Legion, for we are many. We're heading into a very interesting election season, but also a period of history prophesied by the ancient Essenes that could be the last age of human history. Watch the program right now at our website, skywatchtv.com. You can also check it out on our Roku and Apple TV channels. You can watch it at YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel now for the main program at Skywatch TV Now, rumble.com/SkywatchTV, or better yet, get our free mobile app, which brings all of our video content right into your smartphone or tablet, along with other features, a Bible with multiple translations, audio Bible, no less. News updates 3 times a week, a calendar of our upcoming events, and more. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets, and we have links to all of those app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com. Thank you for watching as we keep watch, and have a blessed weekend. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.